We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
Let me take this poster off. Voila!
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, Daddy-O?
Not much. The other day, I was drinking one of my nice fizzy drinks here, and I decided I would put it right over here on my nice little mouse pad, and I would and then it spilled all into my keyboard. Yeah. Initially, I first thought, oh, wow, it's still working. Right after I thought that, all of these apps on my screen start flying open, just started opening. I'm like, oh crap, got to shut down the computer. So I reached over and did an emergency shutdown. And so I ended up taking the keyboard apart. It used to have a black bezel plastic piece around here. So I took it all apart, wiped it all down, and then I got my little trusty heater right behind me. Mm-hmm. And I just laid the the electronics part right on top of that and let it warm up, not get too hot. So that way it would evaporate any sort of liquid. Flipped it over, did the same thing, let it cool off, repeat. Then I stuck it out in the garage, let it dry. Did it the next day, same thing. And then on the third day, I reconnected everything, and I got my keyboard back. I'm like, yes!
Yay! You didn't have to buy a new keyboard.
No, I thought I would.
You know what? See, I thought Mez gave us a cool little background because she loved us and she wanted to
that's a nice one.
It's the gaming one. She forgot to turn off the gaming background.
What a lazy pants.
Dude,
I'm glad she's not around to hear us, Dude. It's good she's not here. Wait a minute, I better look. She's there in the chat. I see her. Sorry.
Dude, she is the backbone of this channel, man. She makes sure that things happen.
She is. She really is. God bless her heart. She is amazing. I just sit there thinking, my God, she has 12 kids. She has 3 jobs. She works here with all these shows. Oh, my God. Yeah, lazy. She's definitely lazy.
By the 12 kids, you're probably including her own children.
Plus all of us.
People at Kyber Cave.
Yes. Plus all of us.
We want to welcome everybody in tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's good to see you, Mez. We love you so much.
Definitely. I haven't even met you, and I love you.
That's the weird thing, It's like there's so many things that Hey, Alex is online.
It's Alex in the house. Welcome, Alex.
What's up? Why didn't anyone tell me? I think you would know if you had 12
While I was looking for medical paperwork, look what I found. It's an original. Yes, and it still works.
Great.
Yes. Super
50. I need one of those for my students.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of which, okay, and then we'll get into the show. But I have a funny, a funny story that happened today. Okay. It actually involves Mez, so she'll appreciate.
We always love funny stories involving Mez.
So so some people that watch Kyber Cave Productions regularly knows that on Monday mornings Mez has her gaming stream at 10 a.m. So when I went on my lunch break today at work, I jumped on the stream and her and Aubrey were still on playing. So, I jumped in and said hi or whatever. And then I looked at the comments and I noticed one of them was the name Danny Rivera. And I was like, wait a minute. That's a student in the classroom right next door to me. Why does he have his phone on, watching the show and leaving comments when he's in class right now? I ripped him a new one online, and then I went over next door. Come to find out, he was homesick that day. Today.
Busted. Okay, so he's good.
So he evaded it this time, but that kid is dying to win a lightsaber, man. He's just tuning in.
Oh, that's so cute. That's freaking adorable. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Says, and the whole time we were sitting there translating Spanish. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is he speaks English, so he got one over on you.
That's so sick.
Yeah, his primary language is Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish, so I speak to him in English at school. So don't let him tell you no different. All right, that was my fun little story for the day.
That was fun.
Let's get into this, my man.
All right.
Our topic tonight. Okay, I want to give a little bit of backstory on this, only because I was actually going to have you chop up a picture and put it up, but then I was like, you know what, that probably wouldn't be appropriate for, because we try to take away the negative stereotypes of what we see. But I do want to make it known that the way this particular topic came to me as an idea or a suggestion that John agreed with was I was watching on YouTube. There was a YouTuber that had a thing that was like 15 facts you didn't know about Jason Voorhees, right? From Friday the 13th. And one of them was that Jason Voorhees had hydrocephalus. And I was like, wow, I've never heard of, you know what I mean? You hear about mental diseases and things like that, but a lot of times you don't hear about physical ailments and things like that. With especially in slasher flicks, you know what I mean?
Tell me about it. Yeah. When you shared that, I'm like, what? I quickly looked it up. I'm like, holy crap.
Right. So, that is kind of that is probably going to be our biggest, most widely known tie-in to popular culture. But for obvious reasons, we're not going to show clips of Friday the 13th on here. First off, because they don't even really mention it. It's kind of one of those, behind the lore
It's an obscure thing.
It's obscure fact, right? It's not like there's some scene in any of the 10 or 11 movies where they
and then you come to find out he has some sort of supernatural curse on him that gives him these extra capabilities and stuff. Because a lot of people like to take, if he has this, then it means that it damaged his brain, so he must have some sort of mental illness that's causing him to be this way. It's like no.
But interestingly, though, and let's pull up the definition of a hydrocephalus. We'll talk a little bit about it, but you can see it in his character, and there are, even in that, what's very interesting too is a lot of times when we see these shows that show medical afflictions, they at least try to get it right. You know what I mean?
They do.
In this, they didn't give a damn, dude. They just was like, oh, he's got this, but it didn't. His traits don't really. First off, a lot of people that have hydrocephalus, unless they're getting shunts or procedures to drain the fluid, they don't live to adulthood.
No, not typically.
And then especially in the time period that Jason, the 80s and that
something
sort of
else
thing.
Too is that you can get this at any time in your life, by the way, for different reasons.
Right.
So,
now it's very interesting how it affects infants as opposed to adults. With adults, it tends to be a lot more serious, a lot faster.
Yes.
Because our
heads
skulls have hardened.
Yes.
And there's nowhere for the fluid to go. But in babies, you'll see them, and we'll see videos. You'll see they'll have like the large heads.
They look like a mad scientist in a way.
I really hate to say this, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but the first thing I thought of was there's the Marvel or the comic book hero Leader One, and then there's Brainiac.
And Brainiac too, yes.
Right, exactly. So if you imagine that's what a lot of kind of infants tend to look like. They'll have the larger
bulbous
because
head,
all of this fluid is built up, and their skull is still soft, and so it's more it's
malleable. Adjusting, basically.
Right. What's up, Graveyard?
Hey, we got Grave in the house.
Oh, see, there's our murder man right there. And that sounded bad, didn't it? Jason is a deadite, and yes, I turned in I tuned in at the right moment.
How
So
many
yes.
shotgun shells?
So now that we have talked about the history of where this idea came from, Jason Voorhees has hydrocephalus. Let's pull up the definition here, so that we're all on the same page. And I'm
Yes.
going to ask you to read, John, because I don't have my old man glasses on. All right, here we go.
Get my jacket out there. Sorry. All right. Live. Hang on. I'm going to read it over here. Hydrocephalus is an abnormal buildup of fluid
Oh, let me
in
take
the ventricles, cavities, and the clapboard that says Kyber Cave.
Wait, I'm pulling that off.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. Cavities deep within the brain. This excess fluid causes the ventricles to widen, putting pressure on the brain's tissues. Cerebral spinal fluid, great, CSF, it just said that, is a clear, colorless fluid that protects and cushions the brain and spine.
All right.
And this is the stuff that I'm going to be worried about leaking out of me when I get a surgery done soon.
Yay. Well,
But, yeah.
so just so we understand, it is spinal fluid. The spine is connected to the brain, and it's leaking into the brain. Now you do have fluid there already.
Yes, it could also be generated from these parts in the brain too.
Okay.
So it could be generated from there or be coming in through the other way. So because if it gets blocked ducts anywhere, it could end up backing up and
Right. And there are, fortunately for this one, there are things that can be done to help you out. Now, if things are not taken care of in infantry, a lot of these people will not make it to adulthood, from what I understand.
No,
however, if corrective measures are taken from infancy, they could potentially live a typical life, I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, their chances of survival are just like everybody else.
Right. And
Probably
I
get hit by a
don't
bus.
because I know, like, by not treating it right away, they can have deformities. So that's one of the things Friday the 13th got right, is there can be facial deformities because of the pressure that this fluid is putting on different parts of the baby's face. So they might have a forehead, or maybe their eyes a little like that, and then they will have the enlarged skull. Okay, so let's roll a video here, and I think we were doing the definition. Okay, so here we go. We'll see you on the other side of the video.
In this installment, I will discuss hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is a condition that involves the buildup of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, a fluid that is produced in the cavities of the brain known as the ventricles. CSF flows through and around the brain and spinal cord and is eventually absorbed into the bloodstream. It serves a number of functions, including acting as a cushion, delivering nutrients, and removing harmful substances. Hydrocephalus can occur due to excess production of CSF, impaired reabsorption of CSF into the bloodstream, or a blockage in the ventricular system that causes CSF to accumulate. Hydrocephalus is mainly classified as either communicating or non-communicating. Communicating hydrocephalus does not involve a blockage in the ventricular system. Non-communicating hydrocephalus involves a blockage and is the most common cause of hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus can be present at birth, or it can be acquired later in life. When CSF accumulates in the ventricles, this causes the brain to become enlarged. The increased brain size can lead to increased pressure in the skull, which can lead to the compression of the brain and a variety of symptoms, some of which may be life-threatening. When hydrocephalus occurs in infants, their skull is more capable of expanding, so their heads often become enlarged, but there may be more time before the onset of other symptoms. In adults, however, the skull does not generally expand, and symptoms may appear more quickly. Treatment for hydrocephalus involves an attempt to drain the excess CSF, and often this involves using a cerebral shunt. A cerebral shunt is a plastic tube connected to a catheter. One end of the catheter is placed at the site of increased pressure in the ventricles, and the other is often placed in the lining of the abdominal cavity. CSF is diverted to the abdominal cavity, where it can safely drain.
And there you go.
Too nice. Sorry about that.
It's okay. And that's the basic mechanics of that. Uh-oh. Do we consider Sloth
Oh, did I
from
miss?
Goonies?
Did I miss something? Oh,
Oh,
what is this? Okay, Sloth from Goonies. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. You know what? I want to look that up. Maybe that could even be a series too, like because we have so many things to talk about on the show, but we could talk. That could be like a whole like line, like famous characters that have diseases you didn't know about.
Yeah, you sure could. You sure could.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm going to
Wow,
research
that's
that
awesome.
now. Thank you, Graveyard.
Yeah, I try to restate all the time to people that disabilities, there are far more disabilities in our world than you can look up on Google. Years ago in 2008, when I looked on Google and I looked up number of people disabled in the world, they had somewhere between 5 to 10%. I then asked various different places that kept status on this World Bank, the World Health Organization, census keepers here in the United States, and I asked them, what is your formula for figuring out how many people are disabled in the world? They said, well, in the first world nations where we do try to keep track of this, we then do an estimation and try to gauge if we have this many people in first world nations with disability, then it correlates to the rest of the world. But they got that wrong.
Yeah, no way in the world.
Because in the poor nations, if anybody's ever even considered Mexico and various other places around where they don't have access to as much as what we do and things like that. And Mexico's not really a third world nation. It's got parts.
Actually, I really hate to tell you this, brother, but in the last few years, things have changed, and Mexico actually has better healthcare than we do.
I was figuring that. A lot of places do. Why?
I mean, it has been a more recent change in the last 5 to 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is now a sad truth. There's a lot of Americans going to Mexico for medical
there you go.
things.
And when it comes to this, avoidable disabilities, we drink water, right? Where do we get the water from? Out of the river? Out of a puddle? It collects somewhere in some little thing? No, we get it out of the tap. Most people's water has been treated, and minerals and other things have been amended to it. You get things in there. So little things that could be avoided, and we have access to fruits and vegetables. We have access to all of that stuff, doctors, education, all of this stuff. So we got good roads to get places. So in places where they don't have all of that, disabilities are basically compounded because things that could be avoided, scurvy, things like that, gout, stuff like that, other things, well, they can't. They don't have access to everything that we do to avoid those simple things. And
right. And on top of that, there's a lot of data that won't ever be collected because those people, they know that there's nothing really they can do, even if they could. If there was a symptom for whatever it is that they're suffering with. Hey, Danny, sorry for yelling at you today.
House.
If there was a symptom for whatever it is that they were dealing with, they probably can't afford it anyways.
No.
Or some of these people, you hear about a lot of people in countries where it's like literally a half a day or a day's trek to the closest little tiny, hospital.
Try more like a few weeks to a month.
Right.
Sometimes they're going all of this distance to go and see a veterinarian. Sometimes they'll go all that distance and that person's not even there. They're off somewhere else helping somebody. And the person then has to wait for however long for them to come back. And by that point, an infection could have already spread to more parts of the body and stuff. It's really unfortunate. It really is. Overall, in my years of research into this, I could Lycos mail deleted everything of mine when I was homeless for about a year. After 3 months, I had all this research in their email servers that I was going to write a book on about disability and how we try to hide from it, type of thing. There's between 4.3 billion people, the 5.9 billion people in the world that have some form of disability, and that's not even including every possible direction and vector of disability.
Well, you know what? I man, there are like 8 billion people on the planet. Mm-hmm. So you're saying more than half. I honestly, the more we're learning about this, and this show has been incredible for me. I've learned so much, even in the just the 2-3 months that we've been doing it. I've learned about things I've never even heard of before, and considered other people's lives of people that I've never really thought of before. Oh my God, I just jumped the track. What was it? What were we just talking about right before that?
Basically, the population of people in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah,
when we were looking up anxiety and depression, right there alone, like like the statistics were like 3 out of every 5 Americans or something like that is dealing with or has dealt with bouts of anxiety and or depression. So if depending on how you term disability,
anything that interferes with your daily life or work, schooling, or otherwise, any of that.
When you think of it in those terms, I mean, it almost should be the other way around, right? Disability should be the norm, and a typical person should be the weird thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. When animal scientists that study wild animals in the wild kingdom and stuff like that, giraffes, all that stuff, they find that roughly anywhere between about 70 to almost 85% of the population has some form of disability. Not all disabilities mean that it's leaving you in a vegetative state in a bed that you can't do anything with, or that you obviously have disabilities to the rest of the community. It's just there are traits that are found that show that much more of the population of these animals, of different animals, practically every animal group in the world, has disabilities greater than those that don't. And humans are the only ones ignorant and arrogant enough to pretend we couldn't possibly be in that same sort of category. We are animals, after all. We don't like to think of ourselves that way, because why? We can pollute the world, make things that, junk up the world, destroy the environment.
We make art.
Art.
That's the classic definition. Although elephants and dolphins can do that too.
Hey, they can. Yeah, so, I see some chimps too.
Graveyard has a question. He says, "Do you think the number that number will go up as we continue to tweak the definition of disability?"
No.
Yeah. Here's what I think. Will the numbers go up? Yes, if we're including different disabilities. Will it be accepted as such? No.
That's what I mean. Yes.
I still think there's going to be. Most of it is going to be hidden. Most of it is going to be things that people are ashamed to talk about.
Here's why.
Or don't want to talk about. Go ahead.
The government and everything, our governments and stuff like that, especially the U.S. and things like that, they don't want to create a mass hysteria and have the general public feeling, holy crap, practically every other person has got some form of disability, mental or otherwise. Holy crap. People would go bonkers. As it is, people go bonkers already over stuff that makes no sense to me. Oh, somebody's trans. Oh, somebody's going this or that. They're gay or this. Oh my God, somebody's black. It's like, really? You're hating people for things they can't even control, and it doesn't even have any effect on you.
Well, when I'll take it even a step further than that. When we watched the Crip Camp, they were talking about specifically how and I don't remember the politician who kept trying to push off this bill, but he was talking about specifically how expensive it will be if we recognize this group of people, because we're going to have to go retrofit every federal building. We're going to have to change the stair systems. We're going to have to make sure there's adequate elevators, and they didn't want to pay for it.
Right now, Americans spend trillions of dollars a year out of pocket for healthcare that they don't even get the benefits for. Okay. Right. We already spend trillions of dollars a year, year after year. I just recently found out that Medicare doesn't do anything preventative. They are reactive as an insurance. So even if, let's say they insist that I have a basic wheelchair, I end up destroying my upper body from it, they would sooner cover all of the future medical expenses. And the one that I'm looking into, the surgery, can easily cost them close to $450,000 by the end of 10 years. Because I have to go back in for repeated surgeries to get things replaced.
I don't mean to sound rude, but why don't you just realize that is how America works?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how the police work.
Yep. We would much rather, and this is our healthcare system, it's for profit. There is no incentive.
Boom. Right there.
No
that
incentive.
was wait, you already said the incentive.
Okay. No incentive to help us.
Oh no,
they rape us. They take our wallets, fleece us,
But that's
and
not
then
what
leave us with
they're
nothing.
right.
And then
That's not
expect us to continue to pay more.
that's not their
Why are we as
business
Americans
model.
accepting this? Why don't we peacefully band together and come up with a way that would work to cover everybody? And I mean everybody, because if you say don't include the rich, then who gets all of the best care? The rich. You want them included in all the people covered by insurance, because then all of that disseminates down quicker.
You know, I wonder. I wonder if there's a way. Okay, do you know offhand? Okay, I don't know if you know, but do you know the difference between a bank and a credit union?
Yes.
Okay, so the bank is a for-profit. The credit union is a non-profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Typically,
wonder
yeah.
if there's a way. Do they have non-profit hospitals? Like, I know that
They
sounds
do
like a
have-
stupid question, but
They do have nonprofit hospitals. They have also free hospitals. They have. Did you know this? If you can't pay a bill at a hospital, 98% of the hospitals in America, all you have to do is ask if they offer third-party help with payments. If you don't ask, they don't have to tell you.
right. Well,
So what I did at the hospital I worked at, I took the little cards that explained it, sat them right on my desk, right in front of people in different spots. And anytime somebody mentioned that, I said, well, if you take a look down in front of you, you might find an option that can help you. And they looked down. You mean this? Well, now that you asked, yes, that could possibly help you. Call that number. I couldn't tell them. I could get fired for telling them.
Right.
They have to ask. However, I came up with the create, and I told my boss, I said, she's like, you're freaking brilliant when it comes to this stuff. And people, and it's like, now that you've asked about that card, I can tell you what that card could possibly do to help you. You
Right.
have to call them and qualify. So I don't know what their criteria is, but call that number. They can help you with part or all of your bill. And it didn't matter what your income was. It didn't matter. What mattered was, could you pay the bill that you were currently getting billed? If the answer was no, then you need help. Didn't matter if you were rich, poor, or otherwise. You know,
It reminds me of have you ever seen I think it was Impossibles 2
Yes,
or Incredibles, not Impossibles.
Incredibles
Yeah,
too.
yeah, where he was like the insurance agent. And he's like sneaking her information on how to like get over his boss was getting all pissed off. All right, let's roll another clip real quick. We're kind of in our
We're
midsection.
jumping all over the place here. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I blame Graveyard.
No, it's not like Kyber Cave at all to go off the track.
Never.
That just tends to happen on another show, not this one.
No.
Oh, actually, no. I can't even say that. That happens on this show too. So,
Oh yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
We're gonna go to that older video. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Hydrocephalus is a condition characterized by excessive accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid within the brain ventricles, causing enlargement of the skull. This baby's large head is typical. The skin condition is not related to the hydrocephalus. Though hydrocephalus often develops during fetal life, it is seldom apparent until some weeks after birth. Then, the rapid increase in the size of the infant's head, the bulging fontanelles, and the widespread sutures make the diagnosis relatively simple. In the postnatal or acquired type, if the sutures and fontanelles are already closed, symptoms of intracranial pressure develop, but the size of the head remains normal. Usually, the intellectual development of these patients is arrested in early infancy, and they become severely retarded. The facial features of a hydrocephalic person appear small. The forehead is high and overhanging. The veins are distended, and the eyelids are elevated by tension of the scalp to expose the white of the eyes. Hydrocephalus is usually due to an obstruction in the normal circulation of the spinal fluid. However, it may also result from destruction of absorption areas or from oversecretion. Much of the brain structure and spinal fluid pathways can be examined by means of the pneumoencephalogram. This involves replacing some spinal fluid with air or gas and X-raying the head. The X-ray plates register the contrast between the air and brain tissue. Observe the dilation of the ventricles and the thinned out bones of the skull. The fluid is unable to pass into the absorption areas because the pathways are blocked. Hydrocephalics seldom live beyond childhood. If they do, as in this case, the accumulated fluid in the lateral ventricle causes pressure on the brain structures and thinning of the cortex. The result is widespread paralysis, deformity, and optic atrophy. This 4-year-old child, helpless and severely retarded, again illustrates congenital hydrocephalus, the cause of which is obscure. Hydrocephalus developed following an attack of meningitis when she was 3 years old. Hydrocephalus may follow such diseases as encephalitis and syphilis. It may also occur with spina bifida, meningoceles, and tumors of the brain. This final case, a severely retarded 8-year-old, once more presents a typical picture of severe congenital hydrocephalus with marked optic nerve degeneration, paralysis, and enlargement of the skull. Neurosurgical operations to correct hydrocephalus offer some hope of success if performed early in life when the destruction of brain tissue has been minimal.
Wow. That's
Wow.
still, wow. So that was
Yes,
a teaching film.
I'm happy that you were you put that up because there's some things I wanted to address on that video. First off, some of the terminology is not the same as we might use nowadays.
No.
Also, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, because I don't want to. Because I was saying that people can go on to live normal lives. I believe that when that video was made, the shunts thing hadn't been invented yet.
Possibly.
So, obviously, those children were not getting drainage
No.
off of their brains. Whereas with the shunt situation, so when they were talking about, all of these children will have mental retardation, maybe I need to do the research a little bit more. Again, and I want to emphasize that neither John or I are medical doctors.
No.
We did not go to school for this. This is just something that we're both very interested in because of our life experiences.
Yep.
Do not quote me. Please do your own research.
Definitely.
Really, what this show is supposed to be for, this is not supposed to be come here and get all the knowledge. I know there's a lot of great YouTubes that will give you the facts.
Yes,
we're
there are.
not. We got lives and stuff to do. So this is just to get you. Just to kind of give you a picture into something you may not have known about.
Exactly.
And if you're interested in learning more, you can go and do your own research.
Exactly.
We're just supposed to be like the gateway drug to get you to go to find out about this bigger world.
Exactly. Graveyard said it so eloquently. You guys are bringing awareness. So that's what our effort's all about, That's how come if I see a chance of, like when Ark, here was doing an interview with the game developer, I saw a chance to maybe ask the questions about why don't game developers consider including disability as part of the gameplay? Let's say I join Graveyard in one of his games, or they're playing a game. If I get stabbed in the leg, I just don't stand there for a few seconds going, ooh, 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 ooh.
Right.
Okay, let's go back to normal now. That's not the way it should work. You should walk around with a freaking limp, all right? And it should impede your speed. It should make it difficult for you. It should. And let's say something else happens. It leaves you where you're missing a leg or an arm. Now you have to come up and you have to get inventive. You have to craft something. You have to figure out something in order to continue to survive. It's like, why can't we make games? We can make.
Well, there are some games that are similar to that. Dead by Daylight, I think, is one that my son plays. That there's like a killer, and then there's 4 people that you have to go and turn on these generators.
Yes.
And open these doors. But
yes, I've played that one.
Right. You can get stabbed, and then when you get stabbed, you're slower and you don't move as fast. However, in real life, we don't have stim packs, or we can't medically, touch
like
each other,
GTA,
resolve
like GTA. That's a perfect example of where you could end up getting different disabilities. And then the tech path for wheelchairs, crutches, or whatever you need to use to get around, arm, appendages that you can attach and stuff like that. They could be just as just as diverse as what upgrading a car is or your weapons are. I mean, can you imagine? You sit there, you see me thinking you're going to hit me in a car with a wheelchair, and I just hit a button and I'm like, and I zip out of there at 150 miles an hour, and you're like, what?
Right.
I didn't expect that.
And then I want to say this, and then let's get back on track.
Darn tracks.
You know, as much as we talk garbage about different medical industries and systems and the way things are done, you know, what a time to be alive. I mean, just 150 years ago, a lot of the things that we deal with now, you know,
were impossible.
Obviously, we're treated a lot differently or not treated at all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, like, I honestly, I know I've referred to it before, but when we watched that Crip Camp, my goodness, was her name Judy?
Judy Hewen. Yep.
Yeah. When the part where I believe it was her, but the scene that honestly will stay with me probably for the rest of my life was when she, you know, said that they went and saw the institutions, and she was saying that, you know, me and my friends could have easily been on the other side of those doors.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That that was haunting.
Yes.
So, you know, a lot of these diseases, you know, I mean, you know, how long ago was the Revolutionary War? You know, a few hundred years ago,
we still have places like those, just so you know.
Oh.
And they're just as bad as what they used to be. Unfortunately, if you become a ward of the state, that's a very difficult situation to get out of. I was one day away from becoming a ward of the state when I was in New York, when I was inpatient at the hospital I worked at, and my insurance was about to stop covering my stay there. I could hear the doctor and the nurse standing right outside my door with it wide open. I'm sitting there looking at them, and they're saying, what are we going to do with him? Well, we're going to have to fill out the state paperwork, and he'll become a ward of the state if he's here tomorrow.
Wow.
Like, great.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And to think of the, you know, the medical advances, I mean, just even something like I mean, as simple as morphine or you know, anesthetics when you're getting your leg cut off. You know what I mean? Like, they just used to, like, okay, bite down on this leather. Here we go. Oh, and you know what the chainsaw was originally invented for, right? It was invented for childbirth. Graveyard says, unfortunately, we hide people away for too long. Yes. And it was not that long ago that it stopped being commonplace. You know what? It's still not happening. Like, I used to work for Easter Seals, and I worked with I worked exclusively with children with autism. And there's a lot of families that don't go out of their house because they don't want to bring their child in public, because they don't know if the child is going to hurt somebody or if the child's going to run away, or, you know, there's a lot of children. There's a lot of children with disabilities that, unfortunately, and it's not like they're locked in a closet or something. No. But the parents are, you know, and you can understand sometimes you see these poor tired parents, and, you know, they've dealt with this child's entire life, and, you know, they know the kind of looks that they get from people when they try to go to a restaurant or you know, because their child is different in one way or another, or maybe they're just too much to handle. So yeah, Graveyard, that's a really good point. There's still a lot of people, as much as we try to do, John, we could try to hit every medical topic on the planet.
It basically
and there's still
will never
going to
end.
be people we don't know about.
That's right. There are more disabilities than there will ever be people. From the creation of the first humans to the time when the last human is standing, there will always be more disabilities possible than there are probably atoms in the entire known universe.
Well, you know, it makes sense to me. You know, as horrible as diseases and all these are, the human body is probably one of the most ingenious machines ever created.
Yeah.
How all
it's
these
amazing.
Functions and things take care of each other. You know what I mean? And how
it's amazing.
The body has been mapped out, and, you know, when you look at animals' bodies, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I'm not getting into any religious things. This is not what this is about.
No.
But what I am saying is that it makes sense that there could be, you know, if you think about your car as a machine, right? Compare your car as a machine to the human body as a machine.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the things that can go wrong in your car, your air conditioner, your horn, your lights, your whatever. And now compare that to this machine.
You got your rotator cuffs, you got your heart, you got your lungs, you got your spleen. You got every part that makes you who you are. Something can go wrong with any part of that at any time, or due to an accident or something. It's like
exactly. So the fact that so many of these diseases do exist is not crazy to me. I totally get it. How we fix them and how doctors have learned to rectify these things, that I do find amazing. Because that, that's just fighting an unknown, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you, they talk about Rome being one of the greatest civilizations to ever be on our planet, right? But Rome was built on a lot of bloody backs. You know what I mean? Just like our medical industry is. Our medical industry has been born on a lot of bloody backs.
That's right.
Because a lot of things you'll never know about, and a lot of people that were hurt in ways that you'll never know about, or
a lot
neglected
of the
in ways
that held people that were feeble-minded and other things. Medical studies would be done on these people against their will, being forced sterilized or other things like that, to various experiments to test things and try things. And of course, they're out of the public's eye, so out of sight, out of mind. And they usually hide these institutions right in plain sight. Hey, look at that beautiful building. It looks like a nice mansion. Oh, look at those people there in that nice, beautiful surrounding. And inside, you don't know what the heck's going on behind those doors.
Okay, and we really got to get back on
track.
Sorry,
yes, we do.
I'm reminded, for some reason, when you were just saying that, I was reminded of the movie Schindler's List.
Oh, yes, yes.
And there was this scene with the guy with one arm, and he was trying to, after the Nazis had taken over, now he was like, I guess, like a slave working at this factory or whatever. There was the two guards that were like, he was saying, I was an essential worker. I'm in this. That's kind of, actually, I didn't even think about that. That's kind of scary, because he did say essential worker.
Yes.
Which is the term that we use during Corona, essential workers, right? But he was trying to plead for his life with these two Nazi guards that he was an essential worker. And they were like, how can you be an essential worker with only one arm? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he was already, and he was an older man too.
Yes. So he had two things going against him.
Right. Exactly. And I think he ends up getting killed in that scene. Spoiler alert. No, sorry. Guess I should have done that. Spoiler alert for a movie that's like 30 years old.
Yeah, it's a good movie though. It's a sad movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah. Good flick. On the dark side of medicine in the past, that stuff is scary.
Yes.
Yeah, and what is scary is that it's not all in the past, my friend.
Not really.
Some of it's still in the present.
You guys ever hear of Oxycontin? I lived through that Oxycontin gold rush when it was being pushed as candy, being safe and less addictive.
See, and hey, Graveyard, since you're on here, I don't know if Mez is on here, but that's a whole conversation we could have on Kyber Cave After Dark. I believe our military was in Afghanistan. The reason, because after 9/11, how come we went in Afghanistan, like the country that had nothing to do?
Poppies,
we just boom, poppy seeds, the number one producer in the world. Why was our military there? I was told, I've heard, and I'm not trying to, I don't need any, red lights or any, anyone sniping me out. But I have heard that even a lot of the Afghani people were trying to burn the poppy seeds, and the U.S. military were sent there to protect them. So, just happens to be a correlation between that and the opioid epidemic in America.
I mean, I don't know how that happened.
Okay, hydrocephalus.
Yes, well, yeah, we were talking about hydrocephalus. Yes. Gosh, Alex Perez, stop knocking us off topic here, Alex.
Yes, we still experiment on people in good good KCD. Yes, thank you, Gravy. Woohoo! Thank you, brother. Hydrocephalus. Should we do that? Pop out that last video we have?
Sure, let's go for it.
This is a Netflix video that you can actually see right now, if you have access to Netflix. So let us go right here.
Our photographer in Tripura sent in about, I think, 3 photographs of baby Runa. It's unusual to see such advanced hydrocephalus.
Is this curable? There is a way to treat this?
Yes, of course. But there are a lot of risks and complications involved in this kind of surgery. she will have to undergo multiple surgeries to remodel the bones and the shape of this girl.
অন্য অন্য মা বাবারারও আপনি মানে কই আর কি যে আমার মতন বাচ্চারা লইয়া যে কষ্ট হচ্ছে তারা যাতে এমন কষ্ট না করুক আর কি। আমি থাকতে তোমার কোনো কষ্ট নাই, হ্যাঁ? বালানি বালা যখন রুনা ভালো হইব তখন তারে জিগামু আর কি রুনা তোর আগে কিরকম আসিল তো এরকম জিজ্ঞেস করলাম বলে।
Wow.
You're a little sweetheart.
I gotta check that out, man. I did see the previews for it. You know, when we were researching this, I watched it a little bit on, but I didn't get a chance to watch the whole documentary. I love those kind of documentaries.
Same here. Same here.
Did you get to watch the whole thing?
No. I have it on my I have it on my watch list. I want to watch list.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I might just go put that on right after this. Get all tear jerky. Get my tissue out. Is there a question here? Does hydrocephalus the part of the brain? I don't know the situation. Yeah, so it's a buildup of fluid inside the brain. It's spinal fluid, and typically in a functioning body, it would kind of be reabsorbed in through your blood, is from what I understand. But in these cases, their veins or whatever is blocked, basically, so that the fluid is not being reabsorbed back into the body.
Yeah, what happens is kind of like what happens with these types of squirt guns, as it builds pressure in the bottle. Pretend that's the brain. For an adult, especially, the bottle doesn't expand anymore. But if let's say this was a baby, this would be soft and very flexible. Right. And the skin membrane would allow everything to kind of flex. The bones aren't fused, so they would just move out of the way. But as you start putting more and more pressure on there, something's going to give. If I just kept on doing this, either the bottle's going to explode or the valve that keeps the stuff held in here is going to explode. And of course, I don't think this is holding any pressure in here right now, but basically it works on a similar principle as a air-powered anything, really. It's just using hydraulic fluid because it's using a fluid that's part of your spinal fluid. And it's that pressure that causes, it may not cause as much brain damage in a baby, but if an adult gets this, it could cause brain damage pretty quickly because the brain can't get out of the way. The skull can't get out of the way.
Move your camera up so people can see your face. There you go.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So, yeah.
And it would, like we saw in that the 50s video, because they didn't have technology to deal with this maybe at that time period, and maybe that's something we need to research is, were they doing that at that time period?
Yeah.
The babies would just get larger and larger, but they were having, they were talking about mental retardation and, different orbital sockets being affected, the foreheads growing larger, so different functions of the bodies may also be affected because it's getting pressure on all parts of the brain.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. It's always good having you on, buddy.
Definitely.
So we got about 10 more minutes here.
Right.
Any final thoughts or
what other off topics can we talk about? No, just kidding. Gosh. Hey, you got to show people your small little. Show that off. That thing's awesome.
On top. I will show it. I'll show it off at the end of the show. That'll be like incentive. But
that is so cool. I don't want to give it away. You guys will love this.
I'm a dork. That probably sounds really bad too. Now that people don't know what we're talking about. Anyways, let's stay on topic. Let's finish this out. Let's go hard. Then we'll talk about my cool little trinket, and also this big event that we have coming up.
Yes.
I do want to thank everybody who has been with us and who has made it here towards the end of the show. We are here every Wednesday at 5-ish.
5-ish, yes. Or
Pacific time.
Yeah.
What time is it? That's 8 o'clock your time, right?
Eastern time, yes.
8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific time, or any time on YouTube after the show is done.
Yes.
We have lots of other show on Kyber Cave Productions, so please check out all of our gaming channels. Graveyard does Retro Alcove on Mondays. Wednesdays we have live gaming with Mezzo. We have that's at 10 a.m. At 5 p.m. we have Hearts of Kyber. Friday nights we have Kyber Cave After Dark at 8 p.m. And these are all Pacific times. That's where I'm at. That's how I think.
That's okay.
Do the math on your own. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. we have Saber Rattle. And don't forget, we are 15 people away from, if I get 15 more subscribers to this channel, we will be giving away a Saber this Sunday night.
Nice.
That will be $950. You know what's crazy about $950?
No.
When we get to 1,000, I'm giving away a NeoPixel.
Yeah. Rabbi, not the one I ordered, please.
Yeah, no, I can't afford to give that one away. Oh, snaps. I missed Thursday night. Thursday night, we've got Fours. Fours has a few different shows, so he's either hanging out with Aubrey, or Aubrey and Graveyard, or Aubrey Graveyard and or Mezzo. Then sometimes there's sometimes Anthony's on there. Lots of different things. He just changes up at however he feels. That is it. But we have lots of great gaming, so make sure to check out all of our gaming. And if you want to help us out with our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, you can help this channel. You can help us grow and bring you more fantastic shows. Crap, I forgot about Tuesdays. What's on Tuesdays, John?
Tuesdays. Well, I'm trying to get into a rhythm here with Beatdown.
We just started, so it's the brand new thing.
Beatdown is where people literally get to beat each other up with some lightsabers. Well, okay, they're trained.
Combat sabers,
and they have different dojos, schools, academies, leagues, and stuff that are coming together, and we're just happy to be a part of all of this. I mean, when I started looking into all this, and I'm just like, what? You can? Wow, this is so cool. Sorry, my mind was blown. So
that's the video, but then what else happens?
Then I add some of my own, my own brand of, this stuff.
Oh.
You're hearing one half of the mix right now. I'm going to layer something else over this. Let me skip ahead a little bit.
So you get to watch people beating each other up with glow sticks to a funky beat.
Yeah.
That is beatdown. That is all it is. There's nothing more. It's that simple.
Stop looking down.
Watch people beat each other up. Listen to great music.
It's awesome. I mean,
tell your friends, spread the word. More subs equals more Saber giveaways. Yes, I said, 15 away from the next Saber giveaway, and then the next 50 after that. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, and we are coming up fast. When we are. 1,000 subscribers, I am giving away a NeoPixel Saber.
Yeah, I think when were we when I joined on with the collaborating part of this? I think you were just over 200. I think somewhere in that neighborhood.
No.
Was it higher than that?
Yeah, because when so this channel's been around for 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's right.
We started when the pandemic started, because we had to close our doors.
Oh,
and
that's
this show was our way of staying in touch with our customers.
Okay.
Not this show, but Saber Rattle was originally. And then when the pandemic ended, we just kept the show going. So now the show's been running for over 2.5 years now.
That's so cool.
That's our longest running show. Yeah. So, sorry. So for the first 2 years or so, I wasn't even paying attention to the number count of like how many viewers and all that we had. I was just putting out, this show every week. When Mezzo, right around the time that Mezzo got on board, I think it was slightly before, that was when I really started looking. At that time, we had 250 subscribers. And I was like, oh, wow, dude, we got 250, and I wasn't even trying. Like, what could we do if we were actually trying to do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to be professional about it. Shortly after Mezzo came on board, and we made lots of changes and lots of upgrades, and now we're sitting at we've more than doubled what we started with. Woohoo!
So for anybody that's tuning in and you're thinking, oh yeah, really, you don't believe that they give sabers away and stuff. I won this. All right. I cannot tell you how many times I see these contests. You're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, or hey, we're giving something away, and you're like, okay, I'm going to enter, and then nothing comes of it. No one ever seems to win anything, But I did get to see one of these sabers that they gave away. Michaela, who I got to meet, and she showed me hers, and when I held the thing, I'm like,
I think she was our first. No, she wasn't our first winner. She was our second or third winner.
Yeah, something like that. And she got the what is it? The Talon?
Talon.
That thing is gorgeous. I mean, when I was like, I held that in my hand. I'm like, whoa, a T6 aluminum. It's the higher quality aluminum, and it just feels so nice in the hand. And this one's called the Seeker for anybody that's curious. And naturally, it only comes in red because red's the only color that matters.
Actually,
no, it comes with 11 other colors.
I gotta. Oh! You mean the color change? I was gonna say as a quick disclaimer that hilt color actually is no longer available, so that's kind of a bit of a collector's item there.
Oh, seriously?
They stopped producing red and blue in that hilt, so you can no longer get those colors. So it's a bit of an.
I feel lucky then. Wow! I feel really special then. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I'll just quickly show you guys in case you're thinking if they're quality. Only, in my opinion, only things that come apart with very little effort or you use proper tools for it and stuff come apart where you can actually access everything really easy. Like that's the battery, that's the board. And if you ever damage something or you need to replace anything, you can unscrew it all, take it out, order a new one, pop it in, or send it off to somebody to fix it for you.
Oh, no. Wait. Can I back up? You send it to us.
Oh, send it to these guys.
These come with a 1-year warranty.
I forgot about that. Sorry.
Please do not mess with them. Because if you mess with them, then we cannot no longer validate your warranty.
True. So if you
what we
alter it
ask
on
you
your own,
to do, if something goes wrong with your Saber, and if it's been within a year since you bought it, then you can unscrew it in those 3 little parts, but send us the entire core back. Don't touch anything. Leave it alone. Send us the entire core back, and then we'll ship you a new core.
Okay. So that makes sense. So that way you're not spending a ton of money on the extra heavy aluminum, and
exactly.
And then you could just pack up the core piece. Okay, smart.
Exactly.
And just to show people, if you need to do that, these do unscrew with an Allen wrench or an Allen.
That comes with the Saber.
Yeah, and you just undo those, and you can pull the whole thing out of there, and then you can wrap it up, and you would send it off to them, like you said. I forgot about that. I forgot about your excellent customer service and stuff. I shouldn't.
That's the reason you buy from Kyber Cave.
I mean, I just
completely off the damn topic.
I know. I just ordered one of your dark sabers.
I know. I'm so jealous.
And it's the Profi.
And I'm like, you're gonna have to teach me how to use it.
I'm all like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with that.
I just pulled up a PDF on that the other night, but it's so funny because we've had one other customer buy that Saber, so it's come through our store, and it's one of the pieces. We put it up until the customer's ready to come pick it up. We put it up as like a display, and everyone's like,
"Oh, well, that's smart." So everybody coming in can drool over it.
Exactly, until it has to go away to its home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so
Graveyard says we've had 4 Saber giveaways since he's been hanging out at channel. We do them, like I said, it's every 50 people. So if it takes us a month to get 50 people, then that's a month between giveaways. If it takes us a week, then that's a week. That has happened.
Yes.
So, and I think because we just gave one away last week.
Yes.
I think, like I said, we're only 15 away right now from our next giveaway. So, and our shorts have been blowing up on this channel.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to make some of those on my channel.
Yeah, it really has. We'll talk about that after. Okay. All right, let's close this out strong, homie. Yeah. Hydrocephalus, thoughts?
Well, I'm glad to see that they've made great strides in improving people's lives, especially when they're young and have this. And if you're older and you end up with it, hopefully you can get it diagnosed quickly and you can get it taken care of. So it's nice to see that. Yes, you'll hear me complaining about my wheelchair situation or us talking about the medical situation, but you're right. What a wonderful time to still be alive and to have all of these various different options available to us. We might have to fight for them, but hey, they're there. And medical science is not an exact science. They don't know everything. So sometimes, like what I've done is I've had to pull out archived paperwork. You sometimes have to educate the doctors on your particular situation or your child's situation so they can then retake a look at it again. And, you know, here's an important question. Anytime you're having any sort of diagnostic issues with your doctor, ask, what is your differential diagnosis? Okay, Google what that is so you can better understand it for yourself. But that's a really important one that from now on I will be asking any and every doctor that's involved in my care what my differential diagnosis is, because it forces them to take another look at everything carefully. And it also means that possibly you have other doctors looking into it.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Graveyard.
Yeah, Graveyard. Thank you, man. Thanks for popping in here, bro.
we don't have the fabulous beard that Graveyard does. We're not quite as sexy, so we have to actually put out or at least try to put out good content. You just do it naturally.
I just have a duck.
Speaking of which, if you have not had a chance to check out, they mostly pod out at night, mostly anywhere, Spotify, anywhere that you do your podding, anyway that you listen to pods. Check out that channel. That is Graveyard channel. And I actually, as crazy as it sounds, so he does a stream about horror. Him and his partner Salem talk about different subjects in the horror genre every
It
week.
is cool.
That's what I listen to when I go to sleep. So like they actually have a YouTube channel. And as crazy as it sounds, it's like my favorite thing because it's something I've always wanted, but there's no pictures, so it's just the podcast
it's just
of them
them talking.
and it's all black.
Like a radio show. Yeah.
But it's perfect for going to sleep and relaxing to.
Yes.
Because there's no bright lights and like lots of pictures
No
and things.
blinking.
Right, you just relax and just listen to them talk about, crazy horror shit stuff.
Yes, and how many shotgun shells they rate them at. I love that. I love their rating scale. It's so fun.
Right, so make sure to check out, they mostly pod out at night, mostly. Check out Ability TVs on YouTube. That is John's other channel. He does lots of great content there, including the making of... So you get... This is kind of how how it seems. You get the making of that week of Beatdown over on Ability TV.
Yes.
And then you get to see the final product over at Kyber Cave.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's peanut butter and jelly, baby.
So for anybody that's thinking about maybe you want to, I'm not the best at editing, but I'm having fun with it. And I'm not the best at DJing, but I have fun with it. And if you want to talk about that stuff, well, thank you. If you guys want to just talk shop or anything like that, I'll go over different software, different techniques, different things, and give you tips and insight if you're looking into starting or wherever it might be you're at, or if you got tips for me, I'm educatable.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So I think that we are good. Yeah. I want to remind everybody we have an event coming up in 2 weeks. If you are in this area or if you know anybody that is in this area, we have KYBER CON 3 happening February 11th from noon until 5. John D. Michaels, VIP number 1 from Squid Game.
Yeah, that guy is cool.
Only North American appearance. He will be here in Fairfield, California.
Didn't you sneak him in for an interview, my friend?
Was that?
But didn't you get him in for an interview?
We just had John Michael last week or the week before. I think
it was the week before. So if you guys want to check him out, he is awesome.
Yeah, and we've had him before when he was fresh off of Squid Game. We've had him about a year before.
Oh, and that's what he was talking about. Okay.
He's been on several episodes of Kyber Cave After Dark.
So he's a familiar around here then.
Yeah, he's definitely familiar. I
didn't know that. That's cool.
John will be here. Let's see. John and I need to find a way to stream it together as we can't be there. I know.
Yeah. It's like, if I was there, I'd be bringing my laptop. I'd be bringing my cameras. I'd be getting you all hooked up.
All
right, we're streaming there.
Have Aubrey and Anthony from Kyber Cave After Dark running one of the tables.
Nice.
They will be running the Kyber Cave Productions table. so to get more of the word out and grow this channel. Speaking of YouTube and channels, Eric Voss and Tommy Bechtold. Tommy Bechtold is actually the official host of this event, but Eric Voss both from New Rockstars. They have almost 4 million followers on Facebook.
Yeah,
make sure to check them out for all
they
your
are
nerdy
awesome
news
over there.
Yeah, they talk about whatever the new movies that are coming out and the trailers. They break them down and tell you like the histories and what's going on and what you're seeing. They're really into or whatever, new Disney content or whatever comes out. They're really big into like Star Wars and Marvel and a lot of that stuff. So
Definitely.
They will be there in the house. Josh Pilla, world-class flow artist. He has also written the only book in existence on the art of gloving. So he teaches gloving where he has like lights in his gloves and he does all kinds of...
I know. That's cool.
But he's also, like, he's been doing gloving for like 10, 12 years. But he's only recently in the last like 2 years picked up the lightsaber. And this man is like magic, dude. When you watch what this man does, the way he does the tricks and spins them off his body and makes two sabers, like, you honestly would think he's using wires or effects, but it's just
he's using the force.
Physics.
That's cool. Didn't we watch a video on him before? And it was like he was making the saber roll around on the back of him. I'm like,
yeah.
How's he do that?
Right? Yeah, dude. He's been on Saber Rattle several times. We have a segment on the show called Flow of the Show, where we have a different flow artist. But we have interviewed him twice as well.
Nice.
Once recently, I think within the last month and a half, we've interviewed him.
Oh, yes.
So check out our archives. Joshua Pilla will be there in the house. And last, Alan Fernandez. Actually, not last. Alan Fernandez, who was the last living Tusken Raider from the original Star Wars A New Hope.
Oh my gosh.
He will be there. All of these people will have their booths and be doing autographs. But as well as that, they will also be doing panels. So you'll get to hang out with some of these. I think we'll have like 30 to 50 chairs in a small area, and you'll get to hang out with them in a more intimate setting where you can ask questions or, talk to them about whatever their panel topic is. We're going to have hourly giveaways, a costume contest, best lightsaber contest. It's gonna be
exciting, man. It's gonna be exciting. I wish I could be there.
I wish you could be here too, man.
Tony wishes she could be there. She's like, "Oh man, this sounds like fun." I'm like, "Yeah, it does."
And this is going to be at we rented an elementary school gym that has a stage attached to it. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna have it videoed some way or another. We'll figure out how to get some footage out. But we wish you could all be there. Graveyard, John, Fours, all you guys that are out and about away from us. We wish we could have you there.
Yeah, that would be a hoot to get to meet all of you guys.
We will figure it out one day, dude. If you know what? I believe in this channel. I believe in what we're doing. I think that there was one of my mentors said to me a long time ago. He said, "What one man does, another man can do." You know what I mean? Like
yes.
If something has been done, then it's possible.
Yes.
You just got to figure it out, right?
Exactly.
Lots of people have figured this YouTube thing out. You know what I mean? And I know it's possible. We just got to keep working at it. All right. Go to the con. The podcast will have a special code to get a discount. Oh, go to the con. The podcast will have a special code to get a discount on our new merch for people who go. Discounts.
Nice.
Yes. Make sure to check out their podcast. They mostly pod out at night. Mostly. All right, guys. I've been babbling a lot. We love you guys. We appreciate you so much for hanging out with us every week. And we are here every week. I am Ark, and you are...
I forget. Who am I? John!
And we will see you next week. We don't even know what our topic is, but...
Yeah, what is the topic? You guys got an idea there? Anybody want to throw an idea up?
As an idea or something they want to see, throw it up right now, except for autism. I'm waiting until you get past this con because I need some time to do some research.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But if not, we will have a topic for you, a different topic as always, next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
All right. Oh, I didn't have the. Oh man, I didn't have our backups ready. Here we go.